and welcome to another episode of DIOTALK. I'm Dio. Let's talk. My guest today is the most talented Z-Can. Welcome to the show, bro. How are you doing?
Good, man. Good. Appreciate having me on, man.
Thank you for joining me. It's been a while, bro. I've been hitting you up.
Yeah,
Uh,
yeah, most definitely. Everybody got a schedule going on. You work, I work. So,
Hell yeah, man. Thank you for joining me.
right. Yeah, for sure.
How the hell are you doing, man? What's good? What's new?
Life is happening, bro. Life is happening. You know what I mean? Like I can't really complain. I'm not in a good spot, I'm not in a bad spot. So thank God for another day above the dirt, right?
Word. That's some real shit right there.
Yeah, you know what I mean? Like that's just how we gotta look at it, bro. Shit comes at you and it's like, what can you really do but just take it one day at a time?
Yeah, yeah. So what's new, man? I see you're doing some graphic designs, some stickers, pretty fucking dope. I mean,
Yeah, yeah.
I've known you since back then. You always had talent to draw and create art, man. So I'm glad I see you like bringing it out there.
Yeah, so how it all started was like I was doing the art anyway. You already knew I was like drawing and shit.
Yeah,
And so I just started to take it a little bit serious. I was like, I'll make a page dedicated just for my art. Cause I wasn't like, as far as social media goes, I was done with Instagram and Facebook on a personal level. All that shit was just like, it was a headache on top of a headache. Like sometimes you see some funny shit, sometimes you just see news, and it's like I try to avoid the news, you know what I'm saying? Like
yeah,
that
yeah.
should just bring you down, bro. Negative vibes all day. So I just made an account just for my art, and then like one follower after another, people commenting like, "Yo, I like your shit," this and that, and I was just like, "Yo, fuck it." Like I started posting a little bit more regularly. Like so I decided like one day somebody asked me for a print of one of my stuff, and I was like, I could do a print, but at the same time, like I don't really got the stuff for it. So over time, I started to accrue like printers and like little like craft cutters and stuff like that. And I started printing stickers instead of prints because I was like, yo, people were way more into stickers. Especially I hung out with like a lot of people that do like graffiti and shit, and like
Yeah, yeah.
a lot of people that skateboard and shit, and they all they really care about is like some stickers for the laptop, stickers for the
Yeah.
board.
Well,
You
I'll
know
tell
what
you
I'm
much.
saying?
I'll tell you this much. It's a much easier way to promote your shit than going doing t-shirts and whatnot.
Yeah, at the end of the day too, it's like you ever give a kid a balloon and they get happy with that shit, right?
Yeah.
It's kind of like that with like grown people. Like you give them a sticker, like a free sticker, people like lose, like people get happy over that shit. You know what I'm saying? Like if you order
Word.
anything, like you get some Vans or whatever, and they got stickers in the box, you feel like you got a little extra for what you got. You know what
Yeah,
I'm
it makes
saying?
you
So
it's like more personal, because
yeah,
like
exactly.
like a lot of people just like take them and put it on their laptop. You fucking like or their car, bumper stickers and type of shit.
Exactly.
So
Like the heat wave we've been having, people been getting water bottles and shit. Like people love to put like stickers
yeah,
on their water bottles and stuff.
facts.
So
That's
it's
what's
like,
up, man.
yeah, I'm trying not to undervalue my art, but at the same time, I'm trying to put it in a sense where it's like, if it's something small enough that it's symbolic on its own, like you can recognize it from far away and up close, then it deserves to be a sticker. I have, art that I've made into print, but those are a little bit more detailed and a little bit more large scale.
I mean, that's dope. You're doing the right thing. You're starting simple. Like
Right, right,
when I first started printing shirts, like, dude, it was so like so complicated.
right,
Bought this like this industrial vinyl cutter, which is like fucking the software was like everywhere. It wasn't as simple that as you needed when you start. Then I started now like doing designs with vinyl and then the weeding and all this shit. And it's like it'll take me 2 or 3 hours just to weed a design. And that's
right,
like
yeah,
it's too much time too consuming. Then but as I continued to research and develop, I started screen printing. Now fucking screen printing, bro, I need a fucking that's a room for itself. That's how
right,
big.
yeah,
And
most
you
definitely.
know then fuck, I sold the screen printing. And I at the end, as the year progressed and I learned and gained more knowledge, I invested in other machinery. So like you're doing it good, man. You're starting small and simple, bro. Like it's easy. It's easy.
Yeah,
Not you don't
yeah,
have to
most
break your
definitely.
head, and you don't like with me when I first started. Like I lost my passion quick because it was so time consuming. Like it's something
Right,
that like makes you or breaks you, literally.
right, right. Yeah, well, like at the end of the day, when it comes down to it, like it's very time consuming. Even like making the stickers that I make now, it takes up almost like a whole day if I'm printing out a stack of them,
Mhm.
because just like you said, with anything, screen printing or like vinyl pressing or just pressing on for the shirts, right? You gotta learn the software. So that's something that a lot of people don't put into account. It's like it's a lot of learning at first too. Even if you know how to draw, you know how to do digital art, you still gotta learn the software that's involved the step above that. So it's very like it's a learning experience all around, and you never know everything. At the end of the
Yeah.
day, there's always stuff to learn when it comes to this because there's people who are professionals in their craft that have companies like Sticker Mule and stuff, which
Mhm.
are like they're kind of like in a way a competitor to me, but I don't really like I try to keep prices competitive with them, but at the end of the day, like all I am is just one guy at my house, and they're a whole company with a warehouse.
Fuck it. That's all you need. That's all you need,
That's
bro.
all you need. Yeah,
That's
most
all you
definitely.
need. Your confidence, you're willing to work, you're passionate. That's all you need. You know,
Right, most
that'll
definitely.
that'll beat any corporation any day. Especially if you invested in your community and you're supported by your community about
Right,
small business owners. That's all you need. That can
right,
literally
right,
last you the rest of your life rather than now you created of a corporation that you'll see that. I know this for a fact because I've sat down with CEOs. Like, you know, they at the end of the day, any small business is the goal is to be fucking big. They want to make money.
right. Of
But
course,
once you
right,
get to that level, like you're a CEO, you're basically just sitting on your fucking chair, right? You lost all connection with the business you created because now you have departments, you got people. That's why they get paid for, right? So
right. Yeah, it's like a
you'll
tree. You start going
yeah,
into branches.
you'll
Yeah,
go to a meeting. First of all, unnecessary meeting, right? Very unnecessary,
right,
and you'll start asking questions. Why I'm not aware of this? Why I'm not aware of that? And it becomes just an ego
right.
booster
Yeah,
for the CEO. They essentially like they forget their roots.
yeah. Most definitely, most definitely. I've been paying attention to a lot of like motivational talks and stuff like that, and most of the time in the room with those talks is just a bunch of CEOs on small businesses, trying to figure out what they're doing wrong and stuff like that. And 9 times out of 10, what they're doing wrong is that exactly what you said is that they're disconnected with the core of the company, like what the original idea was. They're so far disconnected from that.
Yeah, yes. I mean, at the end of the day, the goal is it's to make money, and enjoy it. That's
Right,
like if my printing business becomes, in the future like now a corporation printing business, yeah, I'll probably I'm gonna be in the same thing because that was the goal to
right,
to
yeah,
to not live day by day struggling and fucking worrying when's the next time you're gonna get paid. It's to make money and I'm gonna enjoy that shit. My bills are paid. That's it.
right, yeah. So like with with my business, I kind of like I strayed away from the money making aspect. Because one thing if I've learned is that if you keep at it and you do what you do, the money's gonna come naturally.
Yeah.
Customers will come naturally. Like right now, I'm sitting. I mainly advertise through Instagram,
Mhm.
and I'm sitting at a small like 230, 240 followers or something like that. But at the end of the day, it's 240 genuine followers. Like I know all of my followers. You know what I'm saying? So if anybody likes something, I'm like, oh, it's that dude. Like I automatically know who it is because it's such a small base. I focus more on like putting out like the quality content than I do on posting every day, which it can turn into that. I'm not knocking anybody that does it. If you're on the
Mhm.
hustle, you're on the hustle.
Mhm.
But at the end of the day, like if you're there for the art, then it shouldn't be an issue of like, oh, I have to post every day. I have to advertise on Reddit Instagram,
Yeah.
Facebook, and everything. You know, like to plug yourself into everything. Like I stay away from Reddit because Reddit scares me, bro. I don't even like Reddit. Like,
Dude, you know what's crazy? I just started using that shit.
yeah.
Yeah, there's this, I got a weird email, right, about this shit called
Okay.
Wisdom app, right? So it was basically like they wanted me to sign up for their Wisdom app. So like, it's basically like, uh first of all, they opened up the emails like, they love my podcast, right?
Okay.
But they couldn't mention the name. So that's the first red flag. You tell me you
Yeah.
love
Right. Right.
something, you can't even tell me the name of my podcast, right?
Right.
So, so it's basically like they wanted me to come on and have these like literally like short seminars and like Q&As, because I suppose they have wisdom, right? Then
Right.
I responded with all these questions and concern, because I'm not gonna put my name to something that I don't know. So I
Yeah. Yeah.
started
Most definitely.
Googling it, and Reddit page came up. And dude, it was like literally like 200 comments on the shit's a scam and blah 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 blah. So I
Right.
recently starting uh using it, because I was like, fuck this. Like, this is a great opportunity. All you guys that have a podcast and have been scammed, drop your link and let me check it out. Let's support one another.
Right.
And dude,
Right.
my phone has been blowing up, boom, 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 boom. People saying that's a great idea and sending me the podcast. I've listened to like 3 or 4, out of the fucking 20 I got. It's pretty really cool.
All right. Yeah. That's really. Yeah.
But
You
it's
know,
really
like.
scary because a lot of there's a fucking no,
Yeah.
I got too
See.
much notifications, man.
Yeah. Most definitely. Like Reddit, it's split. So like, there's great communities on Reddit
Hmm.
where it's just like you were saying, where people like to support one another, or like help out smaller people or anybody growing. You know what I mean? That like Reddit has that opportunity for that. And so one of the best like marketing tools I could use as somebody who's a small business that's only trying to go through like social media is probably Reddit. But the reason I stay away from Reddit is just because of like my personal gripes with it. Like I'm not a big fan of some of the other communities on Reddit. You
Yeah.
know, like most of the time, like if I'm on Reddit, it's at work trying to kill time. Like it's like a quick, it's like one of those like general news sites. You have everything on it, right?
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
So like Reddit is it's a great marketing tool, especially if you're in the right communities, talking to the right people. But at the end of the day, I'm just doing what I'm doing to build up a portfolio. I'm trying to get past the like I put out stickers just in case people see my work and they're like, oh, I want that, like so this way they have an opportunity to have it in their house
Yeah.
or for
Yeah.
themselves, however they want to, have it. But my goal is to just kind of build up a portfolio and then go on to bigger things like clients, straight up, people who are looking for design. And I've done a couple, like, I've got some work thanks to my Instagram. I've got couple people that I've done designs for, and I'm working on like making a folder with everything, just kind of promoting that. Um, so like, thank God for that. I got, a couple. I'm like, slowly making my way up from stickers, like just drawing to making stickers to making prints, to now I'm doing designs. Like
Yeah. Yeah.
hopefully, we'll see what the next step is, right?
I always, from the time I first met you and saw your talent in drawing and whatnot, I always thought you were gonna end up like doing tattoos, because that's how
You
good
know
your
what's
art was.
you know what's funny? I went that route one time. My hands are too shaky for it. It's like I
Mm.
can't do that shit, bro.
And then you
Like,
have that
and I got
machine buzzing.
friends. Yeah, I bought a machine and everything. I went that route. I tried to go for it. But it was just like my hands are too shaky for it. I can't I wouldn't be able to give quality tattoos the way that some other people that I know can.
I
Like I
feel you.
got friends that do it and they went through their apprenticeships and they got, they went and they ended up tattooing in shops from one shop to another to end up just like owning their own shops. And I give them credit. They're really good at what they do. But I don't think tattooing is necessarily where I want to be. I love tattoos. I got my own. I'm pretty sure, I know you
Yeah,
got
yeah,
yours.
yeah, yeah.
So it's like, I love tattoos, but I like to appreciate it from where I'm standing
Yeah,
and
yeah,
not
yeah.
like, you know what I'm
Not in
saying?
it.
Like,
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
yeah.
Have you ever thought about like like because your art and your stickers are so like unique that they're really like self like identify art, you know, like drawing, maybe creating like a small comic book series or a graphic novel, like in that route.
Yeah, and I'm pretty sure every artist, like traditional artist, has probably done that at one point in their life. Um, when I was like in high school, I was making comics with a friend, and we would make comics just for our friends in school. They were just in our sketchbooks. We would show people, and like people liked them. Um, and like I said, like I'm pretty sure every artist has at least gone through it one time. They've made a comic here and there, and I've definitely thought about like making comics more on like a on a more consistent, kind of more professional level. Now that I'm doing a little bit more professional stuff with digital art, and like I finally
Mhm.
like buckled down and got a Photoshop subscription. I was like so against it for a minute, and I
Nah, man, not
so
me. Shit, I'm hustling on a budget.
you
I'm
know,
gonna try to get everything I can for free.
yeah, exactly. Well, I'm not. The reason I'm against that shit is because like back in the day, like a lot of people don't know this now, but like Photoshop was a one-time fee. You would pay for Photoshop and have it.
Yeah,
They got money hungry and they made it a subscription.
just like Microsoft Office. That shit was always free.
Exactly.
Now you got to pay a yearly subscription. Like it's they're monopolizing the game. You know,
Yeah,
kudos to them because
exactly.
that's their hustle. But shit, that's just whack.
That's true. That's true. Yeah, but at the end of the day, it's like they know what they're doing. Like if you go
Yeah,
to a lot of jobs where it's like you want to be a graphic designer or something for them, or like a concept artist, whatever it is. One of the first things they ask is like, "What's your Photoshop experience?" You know what I
yeah.
mean? So they know
That's
what they're
what.
doing.
Yeah, that's why I stick to Android because I'm able to like get shit for free.
Yeah,
Get
exactly.
shit for
Right,
free
right.
because if you're a young entrepreneur coming up, like yo, you know how difficult it is. You're
Oh,
you're
most
hu-
definitely.
you're hustling on a fucking budget. You're brainstorming on ways to market yourself because like nowadays, like America's not really free. They market as free, but it's not. You gotta pay for everything.
Yeah, exactly.
Like
And it's
and
like,
yeah, that's
go ahead.
fucking it's bullshit. You know, so like how the fuck am I gonna get ahead if I got fucking, not to mention I got all these fucking bills I gotta pay, right?
Right, right.
Now this is a tool that's gonna help me create my business, but yeah, I gotta pay for it.
Right, exactly. See, at the end of the day, like one of the biggest things that anybody has ever told me, and I'm pretty sure you heard it, is that in America, one of the only way to make money is to have them. So that's all it boils down to. And not to get too political, but you're right. Like back in the day, everybody, like I'm pretty sure your family, my family, they all moved here thinking like, oh, we're gonna have a way better life in America and stuff like that.
Yeah.
And then slowly over time, it's like America's starting to like show its ass. You know what I mean? Like
Yo,
we're starting to see what it really is.
yo,
Like,
I remember growing up, my grandparents owned a store in Puerto Rico, bro, El Faro, right? And the way like every once a month they would have like these like parties in the store, right? To come. You know how my grandfather used to promote it? He invested in a big ass white van. It was actually beige. He bought two fucking microphones out and a radio and pay somebody to record the advertisement on this day. Come and dance with us, blah blah blah. And he used to go around the barrios announcing it, driving all
damn,
day, bro, all day.
that's real, bro. That's smoking
Yeah,
real.
all
You gotta
day.
do that shit out here, bro. Let me know when you want to get a van. I'll record the shit for you.
Yeah. And yo, he started making money. He started selling shit from the van. Like
Yeah,
there's
hell
people that
yeah.
would do this, took the same concept and now starts to sell bread, and it would drive everywhere, like a mobile business.
Yo, you know what that reminds me of? I don't know. Did you like, were you in Jersey City back in the day? Like 2000s, 90s and shit like that?
In the 90s,
Yeah.
off and on, off and on.
We
I
used to have a truck on like Martin Luther King and Ocean and shit, like in the hood, bro. And it was a big green truck that he would sell like socks and shit. And it was like, I remember the name on the side. It was like Hood Goods. Yo, he would just drive around, bro, selling socks and like bags and shit, like whatever, anything you needed, garbage. It was like a convenience store.
Hell yeah,
But like,
bro. They could do
yeah,
that
man,
now, but probably get robbed.
yeah, that's true. I
But
don't think
right,
like a lot of people be doing that shit anymore.
yeah, like And that's a excellent fucking way to start your own business. But like right now, I think right now everything's calm. After September, so it's gonna go back to getting crazy because now the government approved a lot of people for unemployment. A lot of people
Right.
are still unemployment. What after September 4th, that's just gonna go away. It's just gonna get crazy. So
Yeah, you're gonna see
we'll see.
an insurge of people like looking for jobs. You're gonna see a lot of jobs either opening or not taking people, because that's kind of what's been happening since the pandemic started.
Hmm.
It's been hard to get a job, and at the same time, jobs have had a hard time finding employees because basically anybody's applying for anything, and you go to a job and it's like they don't want somebody who's like entry level. 9 times out of 10, you go to a job and they want people with experience. You know what
But
I mean? So
that's bullshit because like in every job, right? Me and you, right? It takes me and you as an example.
yeah,
We have worked in companies that are concierge and doorman, right? Every
right, right.
system, you start in one company, you go to another. Every system is different.
Of course, yeah.
Every company has a model of their working their way. You get what I'm saying? So like to say, oh, we want somebody to experience, it's just maybe in customer service, how do you deal with people? But you put that to the side, they're gonna train you their way on how they run their system. Hey, this is ultra pro, whatever system. The
Right.
company you came had another system. So like it's bullshit. At the end of the day, you still have to train somebody to get them
No,
to
you're
work the way you
100%
want
right.
them.
Like some buildings, like just in that field, for example, some buildings want somebody who's just overall friendly. You know what I mean? They just want like somebody who's gonna be good to the people that live there, and they just want somebody who's overall friendly. And some places want people that are a little bit more strict. That'll be like stopping everybody that walks in, and like more on like the security level. So
Yeah,
you're 100% right. At the end of the day, I don't think it comes down to how much experience do you have in that field. I think it comes down to how much experience do you have with like learning a new job, and like be like what's your ability to learn and grow.
adapt and
Yeah,
adapt.
exactly.
Yeah,
Adapt. That's the word I'm looking for. Yeah, so that's the biggest thing. It's like with any company, you want a good worker, and I don't think it could like at the end of the day, it don't come down to like if they got experience in the field. That's a plus for sure. But if they got experience in the field, but they got lazy with it,
hmm they
you
get
don't got a
comfortable.
good worker on your hand. Yeah,
Yeah, they get
exactly.
comfortable. Yeah.
Yeah.
So I remember when we used to work together, like I work security, like everybody hated me. Everybody hated me because
Yeah, I remember when you first started. Yeah.
I was so thorough with my shit. But like
Yeah.
the way I saw things is like people didn't see what was out where I used to understand and sometimes even accept where other people used to come from. Like I come this I'm trying to make money, I have a
Right.
responsibility. Once I clocked out, that's it. I'm another person. At the end of the day, I'm here to do what I gotta do. And people didn't understand that. People wanted to come and slack and nah, like especially I was in charge, right? I had a certain responsibility. So if
Right.
you lack, you're gonna make me lack.
Right.
Like
Exactly. That falls
it's
on
not
you.
like
Right.
it's not like me just if I didn't have a responsibility, just me, I rely on myself.
Right.
It's just me. But now you have a high responsibility. Now, if they look bad, you look bad. And I
Right.
just wasn't
Exactly.
having that, like people, a lot of people, I could sit here and say fucking names, right?
Right. Right.
I
Yeah.
could literally say names, right? And same people used to talk shit about me, right? Say names. And I used to ask them all the time, you want a job or you need a job,
Right.
right?
Exactly.
Because it's two different things,
Most definitely. Most
and
definitely. And
yeah.
yeah.
No,
Oh
go
no, I
ahead.
was gonna say like it kind of brings the conversation back around full circle, back to what we were talking about at the beginning, where it's like, when you're working for an agency like that or any company, at the end of the day, that's not your blood, that's not your sweat, that's not your tears. At the
Hmm.
end of the day, you're there for your paycheck and to go
Hmm.
home, and you
Hmm.
can secure your paycheck however you need to. Now,
Facts.
if you own your own business, that's a whole different story because then it's like you're putting yourself into it. That's where you're starting to like, if you have any employees that work under you and stuff like that, you want to give them the best experience that they can get because then they'll give you the best employees you can get.
Yeah.
You know what
Yeah.
I mean? at the end of the day, you make a really good point, and it comes back full circle to we were working for somebody just to make our money, and those people love to complain about anything. You
Yeah.
know that.
Yeah.
You know that. So we had to make them happy just so that we could get our check at the end of the
Hmm.
week and still have, like a consistent, stable job.
Yeah. Yeah.
You know?
I knock on wood. Like the same people who used to like, talk shit about me and complain about me, that was okay, whatever. But management, my superior, never had to worry about me. They
Yeah.
when I clocked in the shift and clocked out, they have to work because like one time I was told I run a tight ship. But that's the
Yeah.
whole point. I told them there's a time
Right.
and a place for everything. You want to go chill, whatever, fine, do it, but do this first. Make sure
Right.
everything's done
Exactly.
and go do it. But now they always want to, you know, fucking hang out like they're hanging out in the corner.
Yeah. Word. I remember that. Like every time, it was funny. Every building that I work at or any job I get after that, I always talk to my boys, and I'm still friends with a lot of people like that we worked with. Like,
Yeah,
like my close group of friends is two of them worked at the Galaxy with us. You
yeah,
know what I'm saying? So
yeah, yeah,
like, um, at the end of the day, we always bring it back to that because it was a whole different like that shit was like the wild wild west, bro.
yeah,
Like yeah,
dude.
that shit
And
was like
and
being in high
like
school again.
before I got there, dude, I worked at the mall, which that's a headache in itself. Newport Mall. That one time, that same era was the stabbing because of some Jordans,
Oh, I
right?
remember that. Yeah.
So I'm here. I'm dealing with fucking now gang members and all that shit. Prior to that, I used to work in Newark, and where like every other week there was a shootout. I had to deal with
Right.
crackheads. I had to, so like I'm a little tough kid, tough, skinned it in that sense. So when I got
Yeah.
there, that shit was easy. It was easy. All
Right.
you're
Exactly.
like, I mean, I don't mean to offend any of my viewers, whatever, when I say this, but I'm dealing with white people. All you have to
Oh, there you
do,
go. You just lost all your white viewers
yeah.
right there, bro.
But
Look at
listen,
that.
I'm dealing with white people, bro. All you
Yeah.
have to do is speak nice, look clean, right? And say good morning, good afternoon, or good evening. You know this. You know
Yeah.
this,
For sure. For
right?
sure, bro.
That's
Yeah.
and make them feel safe, right? So when
Yeah.
I
Most
got on
definitely.
when I got on somebody's ass because they have a uniform and their shirts outside of their pants and they're buttoned up and they're showing all their tattoos.
Yeah. Yeah.
Like you're working at a condo, with a bunch of people that have fucking money, right? Their fucking
Yeah.
majority of them are white, had a
And then
shitload.
a lot of them are old too. Like
Yeah,
old people like tradition.
yeah.
Like
You want to make them feel safe.
yeah.
You want to make
Exactly.
them feel safe. That's it. It's so
Yeah.
easy. But if you're like in there and you're showing your tattoos, and this is not nothing against people with tattoos because I got them. But
Yeah.
if
Yeah.
you're
Exactly.
in there where your pants beneath your fucking waist, and you're talking like, hey, motherfucker. Basically, that's how you talk to a resident, right?
Right. Right.
Because
Yeah.
that's what's happening, right? And you
No,
smell,
that's how it was straight up. It
yeah.
was like people was talking over there like nobody see the thing is like when I'm talking to you right now, I
Mm,
got like this is how I talk normally. But when
yeah,
I'm at work, it's my customer service voice.
yeah,
People don't realize you need to have that customer service persona. It's like a different, you know what I mean? Like
yeah, yes, yes. And me, that I was head of security, right? For my shift, my job is to make you feel secure. But
right,
when my
exactly.
team is not making you feel secure, I'm fucking wrong for that, right?
Right,
So
exactly.
so that was like maybe that's, I guess, what experience comes into play, because I had experience prior to that, you know,
Yeah,
and that was my argument, with my guys. If you if
right.
you just if you stick to this, I'm not trying to change who you are. And it's not about who you are. It's not what you're about. It's about, this is your paycheck. And
It's
if
about your
you,
work ethic,
yeah,
right.
if you come to
Yeah.
me and say, yo, I can't lose this fucking job, I got kids and blah, 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 till something better goes on, take advantage of this. Learn. This is a learning curve. This is not somewhere you want to be in 15 years. But
Like
this is
people
a,
don't realize like how easy it is to get fired over there, man. I remember this one
oh
kid,
man,
like before you
super
guys started
easy.
working there. Yeah, like this
Super
kid, he was
easy.
working there like he had his first kid and he just got like a raise, so he was trying to like make it his full-time job. He had a great work ethic. He was a good worker. One day, some lady's ex comes in the building and he lets him into the apartment. He gives them the key and everything. See, now I would say like that's a stupid move, but at the end of the day, she didn't update her files.
Mm-hmm.
So on her file, it said that he had the permission to go take the keys and everything. When he went down there, she complained to the right people, and the next thing you know, my boy was fired. Like, his first kid on the way, not even born yet. Like,
Yeah, man.
it's crazy, bro.
Yeah, and it's like it's so easy. It's not that complicated. It's all have a little bit of patience. Just stay shut because a resident's always gonna talk shit, right?
Yeah,
Just stay shut,
exactly.
not on. Okay, okay, and keep moving forward. But they try to make it more than what it was, you know.
Right, right.
And for management is easy. I worked in management. Management is all about. It's not my fault. Who can I point the finger at,
Yeah,
right?
right, right. Yeah,
And
most
that's
definitely.
something I was always trying to preach. But like, I've learned that like, you can't take a horse to drink water, right? You can't force them to drink water. That's
Right,
on
right.
them. And now throughout
Yeah.
the years, I've learned like, I cared for a lot of my workers. I cared for a lot of them. It's a lot of people I thought they were there. I thought they were awesome, but like you just said, like you have a persona outside of work. You're the fucking coolest person ever. You know this because we gone out and been
And
social,
we drank and shit.
yeah,
Yeah,
and
yeah,
had fun.
exactly.
But when it comes to start time and end time of this job, this is my bread and butter. You're not paying my bills.
Yeah, at the end of the day, right.
It's
Like you
nothing
want me to go
personal.
out and have a drink with you on the weekend, I gotta
Mhm.
make money during the week,
There
like
you go. There
that's
you
how it
go.
is, bro. That's I think that's the issue with a lot of people looking for jobs now is like, and I get it. A lot of jobs aren't really offering the pay rate that should make you devote yourself to them. But at the same time, it's like if you want to grow with a company, not like a lot of times a company will start you on garbage, but they're willing to pay you more if you show them that you can do more. You know what I mean? So it's like at the
And
end of the
and
day,
and if that, bro, because they could pay you how much the amount you want, and a person is still not gonna give a fuck. They're still not.
yeah,
They're still not gonna go. So like, you damn it, you do. You damn it, you don't.
yeah, exactly. It's like at the end of the day, I feel like when it comes down to it, you really gotta if you want to be valued at a company, you gotta show them that you're worth something, that you have value.
Yeah.
At the end of the day, if you go around and parade yourself around like, oh, I'm just here for my check, I'm just gonna come in, do what I do outside of work, and then just go home. Like I'm just here for 8 hours just to like chill. They don't give a fuck about you. They can replace you with any person on the street.
Yeah. Yeah.
You know?
Yeah. Facts. Facts. And that's like what led me like I was a regular worker and then I moved up in the bracket of companies, right? And still, I guess with me is like I'm cursed in a way that I want more for myself. I want why should I be open doors for somebody? Why can they not open the door for me?
Right,
Right?
right.
Like I
You're not
worked
wrong on
in, yeah, I worked with the mutual company we worked for, being the same position, opening doors for people and whatnot. And people with money are stupid. But it's
that. Right.
whatever, right? You keep shut. But as the year progress, you're not progressing. The company within the
Right.
company, you're not moving up. And for me, I started, as I, you know, developed in life, and now I met somebody. Now I'm starting a life with this person. Now I married this person. Now, next, we have a baby. Priorities
Right,
start,
right.
going up. But I'm
I think
stuck in the same place. Like,
I think that's a big clarifying factor. Like if you're trying to grow, one of the biggest things that kind of pushes you to do that is kind of having a kid. If you care about your kid, at least
yeah,
you care
yes,
about growing yourself. So it's like I got two kids, you know that, and you got your little boy,
yeah, yeah.
and all we're focused on now is getting to that point where we can be our own bosses, so we have something to give them. It's not about us anymore. It's not at all. And it may sound like a little counterproductive what I'm gonna say next,
Mhm.
But even though it's not about us, we have to make ourselves better so that we can get to that point so that we have something to give them. If I
Yes.
just stay a doorman for the rest of my life, I don't got
Yes.
nothing to give my kids but experience. You know what I mean?
Yes. Yeah, and if
Yeah,
that,
like
because
if that,
they're
yeah.
gonna come to an age and they're gonna look at you sideways, like one
Man, I'm
of
not trying to have my kids be a
yeah,
doorman, bro.
yeah,
My pops is a doorman. My brother
yeah.
was a doorman. I'm a door. Like
it's
we ain't trying
it's
to have that shit no more.
I
Like,
gotta break that cycle. Like
yeah, exactly.
one of the big things that I just started on my own thing was because I finally when I first met my wife, I finally met somebody that wanted more. I thought it was just me, because
Right,
everybody that I approached, they just looked at me crazy.
right.
Like they were focused on the next time we're gonna get drunk and party. You
Yeah,
know,
exactly. Right.
I was like, yeah, we could do that, but like I want something more. That's not enough.
See now, like not to get too political, but I feel like that's a problem with our cultures in general. Guyanese people and you're Puerto Rican, right?
Yes, sir.
And Puerto Rican people, from what I noticed, they like not all of them, but a majority have this focus on like taking the weekend out to just go out and like get drunk and like party, like drink up, dance, whatever you gotta
But
do.
not to interrupt, but that's Puerto Rico. In Puerto
Yeah,
Rico,
yeah,
in Puerto Rico, growing up, there's no such things as 24 hours like in New York. Puerto Rico, like Friday hits, everything's closed. And if
yeah,
you
yeah.
work Saturday and Sundays, you're at work at 5 to the afternoon and close down. And a lot of Puerto Rican are entrepreneurs. They own their own business.
Right,
So you
right,
so either they're providing you the party, meaning they're the bar, they're the club, right? So you
right,
go to
right,
party with them, or their business, whatever type of business they have, they close at 5. There's a weekend, Saturday, Sunday. Let's go to the beach. Let's live life, right?
yeah,
Over,
right, right.
over here in New York, everything's 24 hours. That's why so many depression. That's why so many obesity. So many problems, because like you work, well, how many times we had it stuck doing a double shift.
Right. Most I'm still doing that shit to this day. You know what I mean? Like you're 100% right. And it's not like we're not essential employees. I mean, they say we're essential, but at the end of the day,
They just need
you
us to
could
keep the money
go
flowing.
right. You could go a week without a doorman. What am I doing but saying good morning and smiling at you when you walk by? You
Dude,
can't even see the smile because of the mask.
yeah.
Like
I just realized this, like where we used to work at, there were sliding doors. Like, what do you
yeah,
need a
like what do you
doorman
need a
for?
doorman?
The sliding
Yo,
doors.
for real.
But
For real.
half of the time you try to help them, they didn't want your help.
No, that's the same thing. The building I'm at now, they got an automatic door, like a handicap door. So, like, the management comes to me and they're like, "Oh, you need to be up helping people with the doors and stuff." And I'm like, "How you want me to help them press a button? Like, come on, bro. You really
Oh,
on some extra
oh,
shit?
they
Like,
just open it automatically. Like, how do you want me? How do you want me to open the door when it open automatically?
right? Yeah, exactly. We got a revolving door and a handicap door. So what am I supposed to do? All I can do is just smile and like go and pretend like, "Oh, do you need help with that?" And then really they don't because everything's there for me. You know?
Does your building have union?
They do.
Bet,
They do.
bet, man.
So
I've worked with unions. Some of the people are just assholes. Like I remember I had a situation, a union representative, like tell me like, well, if they're not paying their dues, we ain't gonna help them. And there's such a
right.
pain in the ass. But you know what? I learned that like the companies we have worked for, the contract, the max they'll have is 3 years. So that's not a secure job.
Yeah.
So like in 3 years, if they don't decide not to renew the contract and they decide not to keep us, we're out the door.
Right. Well, I'll use myself as an example personally. So jobs with unions, for the most part, aside from like those big jobs where it's like people who do like the electrical wires on the street and stuff like that,
Mm-hmm.
PSE&G and Verizon and stuff, those are careers.
I
But
worked
jobs
that.
where yeah, you did. Who you work for?
I worked for this utility company, which I'm not gonna
That they
mention the
did
name.
like
Fuck
no, of
them.
course, right?
But it's like the same thing for like PCNG, but
Yeah.
we were for like now the cable. Like there's a lot of places, and where in New Jersey, especially the TV cable, which is copper, telephone, they run
Right.
underground. So every time there was like a construction, like they will call PSNG and they will call us. They will focus on whether waters, utilities, and we will focus on
Okay.
whether there was telephone under the ground, copper, or Verizon cable.
Right.
So
Right.
we had to go mark it out. Hey, here's the wire. Here's here. So they will cut like 3 inches to the left from the line, or from the
Right.
whichever location was, so the breakdown. Because once like if you break down the wrong and you hit one of those wires, like half a city or half a community has no cable or phone service.
Damn, bro. That's
Same
wild.
thing,
Yeah.
and
So
same thing for the light and water.
yeah, but see, that's what I'm saying. It's like those things are a trade where it's like you go to school for that, you study that, and then at the end of the day, that's a skill that you now have. It's like you understand how those cables work, where they route to, and what should and shouldn't be done in regards to those cables, right?
Mhm.
And so that's what I mean. Like those jobs, when it comes to unions, those are careers. You're at where you need to be. You can go and make yourself your own business as a contractor with that, you know? But when it comes down to like being a doorman, you have a union, and just like you said, those contracts last about like 3 years or something. And I'll use myself as an example. I'm using that the next, like I'm on a probationary period because this is a new job for me. So the next 3 months I'll be on watch until I can join the union. Now, when I'm in the union, I don't want to get comfortable. I'm using this time to hopefully study and go and get something where I can go and be a contractor,
Mhm.
work for a company. Like I'm trying to get into computers, so I'm trying to work for companies like Microsoft, Intel, and stuff like that. But as a contractor, where it's like, here's my business card, you hire me on a contract, I'm my own boss, I have my own van, I have my own equipment. You know what I mean? Like I'm trying to be my own boss, and I think that's what it comes down to with like a lot of these union jobs that aren't careers,
Mhm.
where it's like they're just offering you a union because they want you to have a livable wage. At the end of the day, I'm not knocking anybody who makes a living off of being a doorman. But if you're young and you're trying to get into that, like I'm pretty sure when you were a kid in school and they ask you what you want to be when you get older, you didn't say I want to be a doorman. You know what I'm saying? Like at the end of
No
the day,
facts.
yeah, at the end of the day, you should use that opportunity to study and do what you gotta do. And it's gonna be tough. It's gonna be tough trying to balance work, social life, and studying. And not to knock, social life. Like you still need a social life as human beings in general.
Mhm.
We need to have a social life. If I didn't have a social life, I wouldn't be an artist in general.
Yeah, you
I would
you
just
need that to decompress.
yeah,
Like,
exactly.
but you
You
come
need people to
like,
bounce off of.
yeah, like, but it comes to a certain age, like at least in my experience, this is why, like, I like for me, social life was never important.
Right,
I felt more comfortable. Well, you seen me when we met. I'm always alone. It's rarely connected with people. Like it was so comfortable for me to be alone that actually be sociable, because I
right,
learned I learned at an early stage in life, like, now who do you surround yourself with, because you can
right,
have
right,
that social life, but it doesn't necessarily mean they're a positive influence. Like I wanted to, like at a very young age, I wanted to surround myself with people that wanted more.
right.
Like the people I was hanging out back then didn't want that. They what was the next time they want to hang out, get together, whatever. And you know what? I that it wasn't satisfying. Like, you
I
want to
get
go
what
out
you
for
mean.
drinks? Let's go.
Yeah,
Let's go get fucked up, and let's talk about progress. What do you got? Oh, you're in art. What ways can we do to move up? That
right, right. Yeah.
conversation.
Yeah, like
And
intellectual conversation aside from
yeah,
just I get you because it's like, you meet up with people and there's a lot of people who, just like you said, when you're not out like drinking or smoking or doing whatever it is you're doing, when you're not doing that, there's no conversation,
yeah.
right? And so like that's like the social life thing, that has its own caveats too. If you're gonna get a social life, and this is just my opinion, but like you may not notice, but when you met me, I was smoking every day. Like I was smoking weed every day, like
Yeah.
an eighth a day. You know, I stopped in the last like year and a half. I haven't smoked,
Good for
and
you,
like,
man.
yeah, I appreciate it, bro. I mean, I smoke cigarettes and I drink here and there. I'm drinking right now, but like,
Yeah,
you
this
know
is
what
the
I'm
party.
saying? Like, yeah, yeah, exactly. So it's like I stopped smoking weed because it was holding me back in the sense that like the only people I would hang out with were people that was like, let's smoke. You
Just
know,
blaze
every
up.
time it was like, yeah, let's just blaze up. We go through like an ounce in a weekend. You know what I mean? And that's like, I don't know how much it is now, but at the time it was like 250. 250 a weekend, bro. Come on. Like, first off, that's not good for your wallet. Second off, that's not good for your tolerance as like a smoker. If you're gonna
Hmm.
smoke an ounce in a weekend, it's gonna take a lot more to get you high, and you're gonna be smoking a
Yeah,
lot more when you're
yeah,
not with people. So,
yes.
so I stopped smoking weed, and I just been like focused on working. I've been working out, trying to eat healthy. You know, like get myself on a healthy level so that I could be on that next level. So when I'm ready to start smoking again, I got my own business. I got my own
Yeah,
like
you
I
can how do you put it? You can support your habits.
yeah, exactly. And
But
that's even if I want to.
that's yeah, that's but that's called maturity. That's what each
Right.
individual has to grow up. But you see like 34-year-olds still on that shit. Like
Yeah, most definitely.
I'm never like I'm not, you know me, I'm not a big drinker. I've never been, I still consider not to be a big drinker. You know,
Right.
I could care less for weed or any type of drug. I'm just not that person.
Right.
But you know, it's because I'm the product of my environment. I grew up in a bar. I grew up with a lot of drug dealers or drug addicts. I've learned from a young age that, you know, if you're an individual that can't take care of your needs, right? This is the outcome. I don't I
Right,
don't
exactly.
I don't knock weed.
Yeah.
Um, I knock the people that can't afford their own habits.
Right. You knock the people that's like asking for their dealer for like credit every week. You know what I'm saying? Like,
Yeah,
hey, can you hold me down this week so I could get this and
yeah,
that? And it's like a lot of people say weed's not addictive, but if you're
it
at that
is.
point where you're asking somebody to hold you down so that you can smoke for the week, it's like I think you got a problem, you know?
Or
Like,
you can't go to sleep without smoking. You can't function without smoking. You can't do
right. I
this.
know
So
people
sure.
that can't eat without smoking. You know what I'm saying? It's like, look, if you can't eat without smoking, bro, you gotta go to a doctor. Like
Yeah, yeah,
eating is a normal like it's like breathing. You need to do that as a
yeah.
human being. Like
But
so
they'll, you know, in today's society will sit there and say, "Oh, you're judging me. Why are you doing that?"
right, right, exactly. And you know what it is? Like, I'm not gonna lie. When I stopped smoking, it did take a hit on my art. I don't put out as much as I used to, but like at the end of the day, like I was saying earlier, I'm more about putting out something that's good every month or so
Mm-hmm.
rather than putting out stuff that is just off the top of my head every day, you
Mm-hmm.
know?
Mm-hmm.
I'm more focused on the quality than the quantity of art.
Yeah.
And I feel like that'll gain me, natural follower, organic followers, people that like legitimately like my art for what it is and my style. And and just that, just get it to a point where I'm as a business, I'm not gonna lie, I like art. So I'm not trying to treat it as a job. And so as a business, I'm not really looking at it as I need to start putting out every day so I can get more followers, so I can get more money.
Mm-hmm.
I'm looking at it as I want to put out as much art as I can that's good so that I can meet with people that are like-minded and we can just sit and talk about art and we can just bullshit back and forth and we don't have to be putting out every day and trying to make a whole bunch of people like internet people too, people we don't even know in real life,
Mm-hmm.
just make them happy, you know what I
Mm-hmm.
mean?
Mm-hmm. No, facts, facts, facts. I just like always have to, like, you can love something. Like it's like people that do music, right? They get to a certain level, they love doing music, but there's gonna point in time you gotta learn the business to, you know, aspect of it, because
Right.
you know you want your art to, you want your art. It's nothing worse than having your art um around the world, but you're not able to capitalize and live through it. You know?
Right. At the end of the day, too, like you make a really good point because I was thinking about that a lot of times. It's crossed my mind where it's like if I were to do this as a full-time, like I quit my job and I make it a whole side business, I would need to take a business course only because I'm not so much of a businessman. I'm a people pleaser. I like to
Mhm.
just be social, like have a good time with people, have good conversation and draw. I'm not a businessman. I can't sit here and be like, and secure contracts with people, and I can't secure like clients the way that a business person could. And I know a lot of people that do it. Like I work with one guy that I've done a lot of work for. He blows glass in Florida.
Ooh,
So he
it's
makes
dope.
like, yeah, no, it's a great art form,
Yeah,
bro.
it's dope.
But he makes bongs, pipes, stuff like that, and just glass art in general, like pendants that you could wear on your neck and stuff.
Hmm, hmm.
And he has more of the business mind because at the end of the day, he's paying for every rod of glass that he uses to blow and stuff like that. So if he's gonna do something, he has to make sure first he gets that deposit. He has to make
Yes.
sure first that he has like, somebody lined up for it before he even decides to work on it. Because
Hmm.
not only is it time going out of his day, but now it's money down the drain.
Yes. Yes. That's something I've learned. Uh, excuse me. I've learned throughout the course of just t-shirt printing business. Like
Right.
uh, it's something like I constantly have. Uh, uh, you know, I'm bumping heads with my wife because I do the work. She's my partner in this, right?
So she's the real CEO, right? She your business consultant and shit.
Yeah, she's my business
Yeah.
consultant, right?
Right, right.
So like my thing is I round out the numbers. So
Right,
when I do work, like I'll tell you that's gonna cost me straight off the bat $400, right? For
right.
example. She's the one who now calculates, she's the calculator, right? I'm not off. I'm not off, but why what I estimated. But now the problem is now the calculator in which you got to now take this, take this, take this, take this, and add up the research. That's the headache. That's the bumping head, right?
Right, right.
It's not me as the part of this estimate is easy. It's now researching on, let's see if that's exactly how much it's going to be, and
So let
be
me
and be and convicted. You got to convict yourself that that's exactly the price, because once
right.
that calculator hits and something's off, we need to charge more. We need to charge, So
Yeah,
she's
exactly.
basically the calculator.
Right, right. So I have a question for you, but first let me get on to what I was gonna say in regards to that.
Mhm,
Is that I literally I print and cut my own stickers right here.
mhm.
Anybody needs stickers? I have it down to like exactly how much per page it'll cost me, out of my pocket to print it for you, including the cost of the cutter of the printer. You know what I mean? I gotta say I'm lucky because I got the printer from one of these buildings. Somebody was throwing it out. It's a good ass printer,
There
but
you go.
but now that brings me to my question of when you started the printing business, right? What was the first thing you spent your own money on?
Everything.
What was it, like the press or the vinyl cutter? Like what was the
The
first thing you spent your money on that you were like, okay, I'm gonna start to try and do
um
this?
the press and the vinyl cutter.
Both,
Bec-
right?
Both, because the press, the vinyl cut is gonna cut out the image I need, and the heat press is gonna solidify the image onto the
Onto the
garment, the
shirt,
shirt.
right?
So those are the two things, that essentially that's what I invested in. You can't have a printer without a heat press. You can't have a printer without,
Right,
so you need that combined.
right,
Now, when I first started a couple of years ago, it wasn't that common. Now that everything's more common, now they'll sell you, go to Amazon, they'll send you a bundle of heat press and vinyl cutter or Cricut or whatever.
right. Yeah, I got something similar to a cricket. I got a silhouette.
Mm. Yeah, Cricut.
So,
I don't know about Silhouette, but Cricut it's simple. It's
well, cricket's
any
the top brand right now for that, honestly.
because it's simple. It's
Mm,
it's simple. It's simple. Like
Right.
the one I got is more like it's commercial, so it's a little
Okay.
complex. Now I could cut big pieces. You know, a Cricut will give you a certain standard for shirts, and if that. The one I got was a little bit complex because it's commercial, so I could cut
Okay.
bigger. But yeah, it's a headache.
Yeah, for sure. I
It's a
understand.
headache because it's more. Cricut to start out, Cricut is really good. And that if I would have known, I would probably start out with a Cricut because it's
Okay.
straight up. It's real. It's more simpler. But like I said, back in when I first started, it wasn't like that. Now you got everybody fucking on YouTube reviewing. Everybody has an opinion. You
Yeah,
know,
yeah,
like
most definitely.
you gotta, my best advice to anybody, you gotta look at your numbers, know what is your numbers, meaning how much can you spend, how much can you afford, right?
Hmm.
Once you know that, invest in what's easier, what's more simple, what's best for you to start. Because that, starting, especially if you don't know what the fuck you're doing, it's gonna be stressful and it could really like decrease your passion. And now you spend the $200-300 you didn't have to spend, or you didn't have that money to
Right.
spend. Now it's collecting dust, right? And that's it. So start with
Right.
something
Yeah.
simple. So practice, give it a month or two. Practice, get
Right.
get get it down to science, and then, hey, here's my card. Here, I'm doing this. Here, I'm doing that.
Right. Consistency is key, but also marketing. You also like just like you're saying, you have to be very outward with that. And so a business course helps with you know, kind of taking yourself and being a little bit more outward,
Yeah.
talking to people and saying, having that confidence to say, this is what I do. If you
Mhm.
don't like it, you can go to somebody else.
Well,
But here's my price.
you're a people pleaser. You're easy having that connection. It's not really
Right.
difficult. It's just, hey, here's my card. You ever need t-shirt printed? And move on. Now,
Right.
convincing somebody to um, invest in you, that's experience because you don't know what to expect. But essentially it's like, hey, this is what I got to offer, right? And you explain, boom, 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 boom. You know,
Right.
at the end, then people are always gonna jump at you no matter what. It's now the pricing. When I first started, it's the same price. I'm competitor from my other competitor. Where's my competitor?
Right.
I shipping, taxes. I'm a legit business. All those are in consideration. I've turned
So
down,
who are your main competitors? Like as far as like on a large scale, like my main
honestly,
competitor is like Sticker Mule. You know what I mean? Like who are your main competitors?
honestly, the truth, no one.
No one right now, right?
No,
Okay.
and there's never going to be, because I'm not trying to compare myself to anybody. If anything,
Right.
I see if somebody's printing, like I said, you're printing shirts, and I see you're doing something that I'm not doing, that inspires me to do the same thing. That's just
Right.
inspires me to add uh another thing to my arsenal. Like
Right.
I'm not trying to, because then if you go down that rabbit hole, you'll go fucking crazy. Honestly, you go
Right.
fucking
Yeah. Of
crazy. And
course.
like your mind starts fucking with you. You're stressing, whatever. Like nah, nobody's my competition is myself.
Right. Right.
You
Okay.
know, and that's the truth of reality.
So
You're
now,
yeah.
no. So like, my next question, I guess, I know this was a podcast with me, but I got questions for you.
No,
Uh,
go ahead.
my next question, I guess, is like, when you're pricing your merchandise, right? Like your shirts, whatever it is that you're printing, do you also put into call to do you also put into question like the cost of the machinery, or do you just go into the cost of material?
Like the machine was printing.
Yeah, like do you put that in like at the end of the day on your budget? Like, okay, if I'm making this much off of the shirt, that's how much I spent in material. I'm making double that.
Mhm.
Uh, do you
Yes.
also have to put into yeah, you
Yeah.
have to put into effect like the
Like
cost, right?
like the machine I invested in, right? I got
Right.
the for I was watching, I got the iColor 550, right? So one sheet of the paper I use to print cost me $4,
Hold on,
right?
let me write that down. I color 550. I got
Yeah.
you. No. Go ahead.
That one sheet, and that's depending, right? Because different types of transfers. They call them transfer,
Right.
right? They're simple,
Yeah.
you know, it's different. The one I use, that's $4 a sheet, right? Now, I think I put $1 or $2 for the ink. But that's the color, right? So let's take example. If it's just black or just white, that's like $1. And I'm giving
Okay.
you a rough amount, I'm not
Yeah,
exact,
like just a
right?
random number, right? Yeah.
So the sheet costs $4. One sheet costs $4. Um, the ink, that's $1. Now
Okay.
let's say your labor, that's on you, on whoever, right? My labor, let's say I'll put $1, right? That's $1 label. I
Right.
mean, labor is time and efforts. That's $1. So I'm paying myself. Um,
Okay.
now after that, I'll add in how much does the shirt cost me. You know,
Right.
if the you know you if you're like me and you have your license, you go to vendor, it costs like $2, maybe $3. So that's
So
two,
you
three
can go
dollars.
wholesale because you have
Yeah,
your business license. Right. Right.
yeah. So that let's say it cost me $3, right? So
Right.
you know, plus taxes, shipping, I'll add those motherfuckers inside too, right?
Okay.
So essentially, for a shirt, depending on what you want, right? Because the price is never going to be same, it varies. If it's one color or five color, it varies. It's honestly a customation experience. So the price is never going to be the same. So
Right. Of course.
a shirt's gonna cost you from 10 to 15, right?
Okay.
Minimum 9 or 8, but it depending. Right now, if you want to just one logo here on the chest, or now a logo here, like my last order I had, there was one on the chest, there was one on the side and on the back.
Right.
So
Right.
now I gotta, and especially if the logo has multiple colors, those are now add-ons. So the
Right. Right.
price
Okay.
keeps going up, right? So that calls on the effect, boom. Now you know, how much I invest in to make this shirt, now how much I got to profit, and you put it together.
Yeah.
And that's how I tend to come out with my quote,
Okay.
you know?
Okay. I get you. All
Yeah.
right.
I'm
You know,
yeah.
and
I'm
when this
very
podcast is over,
yeah.
we definitely got to talk because I've been in the I've been really thinking about doing clothing design, and I don't mean like my art on clothes.
Mhm,
I mean specifically like art that I'm trying to design for clothes because I have a couple of wild ideas. I know you see my art, and
mhm.
so I have some really colorful, kind of crazy ideas. And I'm happy to say nowadays, like colorful clothing is kind of like taking off a little bit more than like it's like we're back in the 80s and shit.
Yeah,
You know what
yeah,
I mean?
yeah,
Like
yeah.
so I definitely got to talk to you, when the podcast is over about like, some ideas on like, how to print that and stuff like that.
Yeah, yeah. Well, that's another thing.
Um,
There's fucking multiple ways. Like the most affordable way to print is sublimation. But what happens?
sublimation. Okay.
Yeah, but you can't print sublimation on cotton. You got to print it on polyester.
Polyester.
And
Okay.
and
Got
if
you.
it's 50 cotton, 50 polyester, the image is not going to pop out.
Oh, okay. The
And
color's going to
then
be faded.
yeah, so like
Okay.
if you print on polyester 100%, the image is going to pop out. But then like
Right. Right.
after 50 wash, after you wash it 50 wash, the colors are going to start fading, right?
Fading. Okay.
Um,
Okay.
you wash it 50-50, the color's not going to pop out. So it's gonna look, then vinyl, it's an affordable route, but then like you got to look at now the roll. It's going to
Yeah.
cost you vinyl, right? Because you can have a shitload of vinyl and it's going to, you're going to use half of it, and that other
Right.
half, because it's not, there's the certain amount you need for the other side, that's vinyl wasted.
Oh, yeah. Yeah. Exactly. And that's vinyl that you just spent money on, and it's not like it's like where I'm printing from an inkjet printer. I'm
Mm-hmm.
buying sheets that are like computer paper size, whereas you're buying whole rolls that are
Mm-hmm.
like within I'm pretty sure the price is substantially different.
But
You know,
take a sample of that sheet, regular sheet, right? So
right,
if I have the design that I could put two design in that one paper, you're saving money and you're saving sheets.
right,
Now, if like some designs that I have to encounter, that I need two sheets for one design, right?
right,
Now that's more money I had to charge the client, right? Because now the size quantity. Because remember, my sheet costs.
I'm using my phone for this, and I just got a phone call in the middle of all this shit. My bad. So as you're saying,
No, you're good. Remember one client, the shirt was like XXL, so I had to use two sheets, right? So depending on what media I'm using, it could cost one, or it costs $4. Like the one I'm using because it's so good, it's $4. So now that's $8 a sheet
right,
for one design.
yeah, exactly.
You get
So
what
okay,
you get what I'm saying? So like you got
no, 100%, yeah,
it's always customizing, even when you're doing a course, customizing because at the end of you got to do work for you.
right, yeah, exactly.
You know.
Like, I'm 100% aware of what you're saying because even though I'm not doing, shirts exactly, like my business is exactly what your business is. It's a printing business. I
Mm-hmm.
do designs as well, but most of the time, like I'm doing printing because a lot of people when they come to me for designs and stuff, I'll draw up their design and that's a separate charge. That's just
Mm-hmm.
the time and labor it takes to do a design. Where it's like I don't skimp on anybody. If you need a design done, I'm gonna spend hours trying to make sure you have the best aesthetically pleasing design. And then most of the time people are saying that, and I'm lucky that I've worked with only good people so far where they're like, look, if you're gonna do my design, I also want it printed from the same guy,
Mm-hmm.
because they like to support my business. And so I'm lucky in that sense that I've worked with great people. A couple names to mention: Tech Glass, Mountain
Shout out
Peak
to There
Glass.
you go. Shout out to them.
Yeah, yeah, shout outs for sure because they've been wonderful
Mm-hmm.
clients so far.
But then, like,
And
in that aspect, you have to charge the client to create the design, right? Like,
exactly,
I've been stuck in predicament. They send me an image, which it doesn't work on my Photoshop. It doesn't work in anything. So sometimes I have to recreate the image,
yeah, most
or they send me
definitely.
an image that's all pixelated, and I gotta clean it
Right,
up. And like that takes me, if the image is so complex, that's gonna take me 4 or 5 hours. That's 4 or 5
right,
hours I could just I can use to now print the shirt and heat it up. So
right. And
I'm
that's the
charging for
same
that shit
thing.
too.
Yeah. Yeah, I've gone through the same thing. I had one guy that wanted one of his designs printed on stickers. Now, he sent it to me and it was a drawing in the notebook and it was a picture he took of that. You know what I'm saying? So I had to go in and I didn't charge him for it because he was a referral from a friend. So I did hold him down. At the end of the day, I'm more about the customer relations than I am actually like, making money or like, growing the business. Because if I was more focused on money, well, let's put it this way. I'm not at the point where I could just be like, fuck you, I want my money. You know what I mean? Like I'm at the point right now where I have to network with people and build relationships.
Yeah,
And
that's
so
that's facts. That's facts. Me on the
yeah,
other hand, like it's like for me, like at the end of the day, you have to know what you're worth.
right,
I got people hit me up when I first started. They're like, oh, I know other people that could do it for less. So go to them.
right, yeah,
Why are you here
exactly.
with me? Go to them. Very
No, and
politely
I
go to
agree
them,
with you.
because there's gonna
Exactly.
people always gonna try to scam you, get it for cheaper. It's like at the end of it, you gotta understand, like you trying to make it into a thing and where you can live off it. Same thing
Right,
here. Same thing here. So if you
right,
like for me, right, and this is my experience, if I start off I had to, learn after bumps and bruises that if I start off shy, very shy, very nice in the beginning, at the
timid,
end,
right,
I'm gonna be fucked over.
right,
I rather start for what it is right now than what it is, and so at the end, I'm not, and it doesn't end that I'm fucked over.
right, exactly.
You know,
You know, I had a question for you that's like not related, but I did want to know like, so when did you, like, I remember when you started the podcast. I don't have an exact date, but I do remember when you started it. Cause
January
no
4th.
lie, like, yeah, exactly. I've been watching you, like I work overnights on the weekends.
Mhm.
So I've been watching you to like pass the time. I've been watching your podcast and shit. And I wanted to know like So you started January 4th. You started just before the pandemic started
Hmm.
in America, at least, because it was already going off in China in like November.
Hmm.
Um, did you have a plan to have people in person, or was this always going to be a Zoom thing? Like, was that like the plan from the beginning, or what was your goal like with the podcast?
Well, first of all, I've always wanted to do a podcast, right?
Okay.
It took me years to finally say do it. You
Which,
know,
on a side note, like I'm happy you did, because
yeah.
like you've got some great episodes. I remember
Thank
I was
you.
watching an episode with your boy that was the tattoo artist. Y'all was talking
Yeah.
about
Shout
tattooing a
out to
butthole.
Junito.
That shit had me dying, bro.
I appreciate it. Thank you. Thank you.
Yeah, yeah.
Nah,
No,
man.
so I'm
Thank
happy
you.
you actually did it. But like, you know, what was the goal with the podcast? Like,
Well,
if you could talk
here's
about it first.
before I get there, I gotta tell you the beginning, right?
Okay.
So I've always wanted to do a podcast, right? I just like in my mind, like I wanted to be perfect. You know, I wanted to have the lights, the background, whatever. But financially, that's a burden because
Right,
everything
of
you
course.
as you go into this rabbit hole and start researching mics, audio, blah blah blah, it's fucking is $100 and up. I got money. You know, I'm
No,
not.
you don't gotta tell me, bro. Look,
Yeah,
you can see my background. I live in an attic, dog. Like,
yeah.
you don't
But
gotta tell me.
but there
Like,
you go, right? There you go. And I've always wanted to start things, but it's just like, I've always trying to, have people join me and whatever, but it never has worked out, right?
okay.
So, I invested in this Zoom mic that's cost me like fucking $400, which I'm not using. I'm not using. I haven't since I started. I've never
Damn,
used
for
it.
real?
Right. This is a $40 mic that, and if you go on Amazon, I think it's now it went up to 70.
Which mic are you using? Because I'm an audiophile. I know right away when you told me.
It's Audio Tech.
Audio Technica?
Yeah.
Yeah, I already
Yeah.
know. Yeah.
Yeah. So to pandemic hit December, before January 4th. And I was like, fuck, I'm gonna do this. How do I do
Right.
this? Right.
Okay.
So I have a fucking laptop, everybody's zooming and whatnot.
Right. Right.
All I know is that I want to have at least a video version of it. I want to have a video version. I don't know how or what, whatever. I have to have a video version of it. So
Right.
I start going through his apps and recording, blah blah blah. Until I stumbled upon Zoom, which I realized in the free version, you can record for free. It's
Right.
unlimited, record for free,
Yeah. Yeah.
and
Zoom is amazing.
yeah,
Like the free options it gives you, for sure.
yeah,
Right.
and for as long as you got two people, you can record and it's unlimited. And
Okay.
once you finish, it downloads and it gives you two separate files, which is audio and video. And like,
Okay.
fuck, that's half the work there.
Right. Right.
So December hit, I started hitting up people, just like, hey, I'm starting a podcast. Can you join? Right. So I in the vote, I had like 7 before January
Okay.
4th. I know that January 4th is the first Monday of 2021. I'm releasing it. And for every Monday, I'm going to release an episode. And that's how
Okay.
I did. That's how
Nice.
I did.
Nice.
And I'm on my 35th episode next week. Um,
Right.
every Monday for 35 weeks, I've been releasing one episode. Consistency. Fuck viewers, fuck followers. No offense to them, but fuck them because my
No, I
part
get what you're
is
saying.
to
Like,
is to create consistency.
no, I get what
Followers,
you're saying. It's
support.
not fuck the followers. It's
Yeah,
more like fuck the idea of gaining followers. I get what you're saying.
yeah.
Right.
Like, don't get me wrong. No offense to them, but my mentality is fuck all that. That will come
Right.
because a lot of
Exactly.
people get obsessed about I need more followers or I need more views or all this and you'll fucking go crazy because it's happened to me. So I
Right.
try to focus building consistency. I don't care if the audio is good, the video is good. I don't care about that. My thing is consistency because if it's good, if it's bad, as I progress in this, it'll show my story and evolution, and it gets
Right.
better. And you
Yeah.
got to be right.
Most definitely. I agree with you because you know, for years, I think since like 2011, I've been trying to get a YouTube channel going.
Mm-hmm.
And like I've the same channel I've uploaded from 2011 till now. I've kept all my old videos and I watched some of them and I'm just like, yo, who the fuck is that? You know what I'm
Yeah,
saying? Like
but that's important. That's important.
it's growth. It's growth, you
Yes,
know?
that's important. Listen, 2021, post after whatever pandemic, we for quite some times now, the internet's been showing you, been telling you that if you want to make 100,000, come click this. Oh, you
Right.
want you they're telling you you want to feel validated by a Benz or Mercedes or fucking I don't know.
Or Tesla, whatever the
Yeah,
fuck. Right, right. Yeah.
but it's not telling you, and this is not no offense to them because I've come to terms that's their hustle, right? To get you to buy us to get money, but nothing happens overnight. So you look at my first video till now, it's totally different. It's totally different. And that's important. You know why it's important? Because you're telling your story. Little do you know, you're telling
Right.
your story and your evolution as a person, as a business owner, as a production, whatever the fuck may be. It's very important because
Yeah, yeah.
when once you'll come and they'll have you listen on a TED talk or whatever, because your time will come. If you focus and be consistent, your time will come, right? And you'll finally on this stage that it's a pause to you because you have so much experience, right? You'll tell them this shit didn't happen overnight,
Right, exactly.
right?
Exactly.
Um,
It's very important. Yeah, just like you're saying, for growth's sake. I only keep my videos up there because like the last video I uploaded was probably a year ago. I'm
mhm,
not really big on the YouTube thing anymore.
mhm.
Um, for a multitude of reasons. One of the main reasons being that like so many people are doing it now. There's no reason to really be watching my videos. You know what I mean?
It's
But at the
monetized.
end of the day, yeah, exactly. That's the biggest problem. When money gets involved, then it becomes a whole different monster. You know, here's a stupid example, but like Pornhub is a great example of that. Like when they started letting creators go on there
Mhm.
and post their own videos for money and stuff. And so now, next thing you know, we went from having professional porn videos. I'm over here talking about porn and shit. We went from having professional porn videos to the majority of videos on Pornhub being dominated by like amateur users. You know what I mean? People who are just uploading their own stuff. Because at the end of the day, Pornhub is a great example of when money is involved, it starts to the market becomes saturated.
But that's what we're having now. We've been
Right.
having for the last decade or so. Like we're living in we live in a time that's so much traffic. Everybody's able to do music, right? Everybody's
Right.
saying do music, but like so you don't know what good music is anymore because
Yeah,
there's so much of
exactly.
it. But this is why is you as a person, you have to be able to grow and identify what's good for you and what's good for you not. You get what I'm saying? Right?
Right.
Because how do I explain it? Right.
Well, I get
So
what you're saying. I get exactly what you're saying. It's like the music industry is a perfect example of that, of a market being oversaturated. Nowadays, I don't think it's about talent anymore.
no.
Where it's like back in the 90s and 2000s, it was specifically about talent. And then like
Mhm.
in the 2000s to like 2010s, it started to become more about connections.
It's you know what it is. It's two things, right? It's
Right. At
the
least in America. Right.
yeah, it's an easy way to make money now,
Mhm.
which it's easy, but it's not easy because it's so saturated, as you're saying, that not everybody's going to upload something is going to get instant success, right? The second
Right,
thing
right.
is it's so sensitive. We live in a sensitive society that if your music's out there, I can't be honest with you and say, bro, it sucks
Right. Because then
because
you're considered a hater. Like,
you're a hater, you don't support, whatever. And this time in the it's now than ever it's so difficult to define or to like break away on who's really a hater. Because if
right.
I'm your friend, I'm telling you yo, your music sucks. I'm quickly now I'm somebody's not supporting you. So
Right,
it's we
exactly.
can't nowadays it's so saturated. We can't define who's really telling you out of love or is really telling you out of spite.
Right.
You get what I'm
You
saying?
know, like the perfect example of what you're talking about is stand-up comedy in general. Stand-up comedy has been bogged down to the point that like comedians can't even make the jokes they would make years ago
Mm-hmm.
because people can't differentiate if they're just joking, if it's a written joke that. And I know comedians like they sit there for hours at a day and they write down jokes that they're like, okay, how's this gonna vibe with the audience, and how am I gonna set this up and everything. And like comedy isn't just something where you just go on stage and you start talking about shit that's funny.
Mm-hmm.
It's written jokes. It's a whole set. It's a play.
Mm-hmm.
And so like stand-up comedy has been bogged down to the point that because of the culture that we're in nowadays, it's just like you can't really be as honest as you were before because people now look at you as like you're homophobic, you're racist, you're xenophobic, whatever it is. They're quick
Yeah.
to judge.
Yeah. You know, it's difficult, bro. It's difficult. One thing about that I've come to terms that I've learned throughout the years, people don't like me because I'm too real with you. I'll tell you how it is, right?
Right.
And that's who I am. I don't mean to hurt your feeling. That's nothing that I'm trying to do. But I was stuck in an upbringing that's how it was.
Right,
You
yeah.
know,
Like
like
like the stupidest example is like if somebody got a hole in their pants, mad
you got
people
a
would
hole in
just
your
rather.
pants.
Yeah, exactly. You know what I mean? It's like you rather be real with somebody, and that's something I developed over time where it's like you rather be real with somebody than lie to them. And I think the perfect example is like American Idol growing up. How many people you saw on American Idol that was like, oh, my friends told me I was a good singer. It's like your friends are lying to you, bro.
Yeah, they're
Like,
trying to offend you. Yeah.
yeah, exactly. Like, at the end of the day, you got to be real with people. And I lost friends because of that. I lost friends from being real with them, telling them like, look, if this relationship ain't working, you got to leave before it gets to a point that it's hard to leave and stuff like that. And I've lost friends straight up from just being
Yeah.
honest with them.
I
But
I
at the end of the
I
day,
I think now I've gained more friends than I've ever
yeah,
had. It's because
yeah,
like you can be ready, right? But doesn't mean the world's gonna be ready. So
right,
you got to wait for your time to come so you can be ready. It's like
right,
I could
exactly,
tell you 20 million things, right? Now I'm gonna use myself for example. My wife tells
right,
me constantly 20 million things, right? But I won't get it at that moment. There's certain things in life that have to happen, whether it's situation or moments or shit in life needs to happen so you can get it. So when somebody tells you your time will come or it's going to take you time to understand, that is actually the truth. So
right,
me all my life not giving a fuck, right? Really don't give a fuck. You know me from back in the day, how I am, how I
right, right,
was,
right.
right?
Yeah,
People, that's who I am. But literally, like I've always told this to everybody, I'm all about respect. You know, you need to respect before you get my trust. I'm not loyal. I'm not
right.
gonna be loyal to you straight off the bat, bro. Like, nah, you know. So now that I'm a certain age, now I'm here where I needed to be. And now that I'm here, I've met some awesome people. I've again have some interest in conversation. I've gained knowledge and friendship that I thought I would never have.
And how old are you now, if you don't mind me asking?
I
Or
just
you
turned
want to just
30.
make up an age? We could just say like
Nah,
23,
I
like
just turned I just turned 32 on August 15th.
32. Okay,
Yeah.
okay.
Yeah.
So we're around the same age because I'm 28. We're in the same group.
Yeah.
You know what I
Yeah.
mean? Yeah.
And sometimes people, you're not friends with this people at this certain age because you need to go through shit in life that at this age you'll be more understand. It's you got to be at a certain point in your life.
Well, like we were saying earlier, you're always like, even if it's not just a software thing where you're learning about the business you're in,
Hmm.
you're constantly learning, like as a human being growing up in the world,
Hmm.
right? So I don't think that learning stops until you're like in your 80s, and then you're just like, I don't give a fuck. I'm about to smoke crack on the porch. You know what I mean? Like,
Yeah, yeah. But that's the fun thing, man. See, if in school, like literally, if they will make learning fun,
yeah,
there wouldn't be so much misery, you know. But
right.
once you get out of like high school and you're undecided if you want to go to college, you know, you've been, you know, fucking 12 years of your life forcing shit on your head. Now you have the opportunity to reinvent yourself and say, fuck,
Right.
this is not what I want to learn and what I
Yeah.
want to do, you know?
But I think high school plays a big part in where you go for the rest of your life. Um, See, my daughter's about to start kindergarten, and I'll be real with you, I'm terrified
Me and
because
you
I know
both.
she's about to. Yeah, you know what I mean. Like your son's about to start. He's about to be in preschool, right?
Yeah, yeah,
Yeah, exactly. So it's like they're at that age where they're about to start first off associating with other kids, and we both know other kids aren't exactly it. You know what I
yeah,
mean? Like
yeah.
they they
Yes,
start to get like kids learn at a young age that people are assholes no matter where the fuck you go. You
yes.
know what I mean? So like I'm terrified of her starting school, but at the same time, I can't really be too scared because this is an age where first she's gonna learn how the world works, that there's not people who are 100% there, and there's people who just want to be vindictive for the sake of being vindictive,
Mm-hmm.
you know? And I feel like when you get to high school, that's that age where your hormones start kicking in, puberty starts hitting, like right when you're a freshman. So by the time you're a senior, it's like the biggest growing experience. By the time you're ready to get out of there, you have a general idea of how the world kind of works.
Yeah.
And then college starts in and shit like that.
But like,
Which
and I remember in high school, I was very popular, but all
okay,
but for all the wrong reasons, you know.
same.
You
Trust me.
know,
Yeah,
I was well known throughout the streets and the
yeah.
barrios, but for all the wrong reasons. And you know, when I got to like 10th grade, if before I felt lost, I was even beyond lost, you know, because like I said, I was so advanced in life, like maturity wise, life experience wise, that I wasn't able to enjoy, you know, friendships or relationships because mentally they weren't on that level,
No, I get you.
you
Yeah,
know.
because like in high school for me, like just like you were saying, you were around like people who's drinking all day, drug dealers and shit like that. When I was in high school, like, and this is just honestly, I was the drug dealer. You know what I'm saying? I was selling weed out of high school. You know what I mean? Like, and this was back when in Jersey, like we just got legal last year. You know what I
Yeah,
mean? Like,
yeah. And if that,
so yeah, exactly. It's barely legal now. They
yeah,
still come at you. So I was selling in high school. So all the people that in high school I may have considered friends, looking back now, I know they're not friends. You know what I mean? They were just after a quick high.
yeah.
So
You were the connect. They needed to have a good
yeah,
rapport
exactly.
with you, you know.
Exactly.
It's
They
like
needed to have that.
it was like that movie Pineapple Express,
Yo, exactly. Yeah,
right?
it's like I'm not your real friend, but yo, if you down to smoke, let's smoke. Like
Yeah, and that's how it is. And relationships shouldn't be built on a necessity.
that is the biggest point. Now, this is completely unrelated, but I have a friend who he's going through a breakup, a divorce actually. And yeah, yeah, you don't say. Like, I'm not gonna say names, but if he watches this, he knows who I'm talking about. He had moved down to another state for her and everything. So by the time that they divorced, he had to go and find a place down in that state and start from scratch down there. He was just finishing his tattoo apprenticeship, and he couldn't come back up this way because he already got a job at a shop. So he had gone to a whole place, a whole different state, a whole different life. He got a dog now. Like, you know what I mean? Whole different life
Mm-hmm.
just off of being married and then getting divorced in the middle of it. And like he always tells me, and I'm pretty sure he's just sour over the breakup, but he always tells me that like men and women can't be platonic friends. Like we can't have friends with women because there's always an ulterior motive. And my thing is that I always tell him, and he don't like hearing it too much, but you know, like we said earlier, we keep it real. We rather keep it real than be liars, right? And I always tell him, it's like, at the end of the day, you can't be friends with anybody, male or female, if there's an ulterior motive. If you're only hanging out with somebody because they're your person to go to when you don't have nobody else to smoke weed with, or if they're your person to go to because you need a ride to get around and shit, like when they're not there for the ride or they're not there for the weed, you can't be friends with that person. Like, what are
Yeah.
you guys gonna talk about? You know?
100%. That's facts.
Yeah, yeah, most definitely.
That is 100% true. And I guess throughout the years I haven't had a lot of friends because I'm not somebody to smoke weed. I'm not somebody to drink, right? Uh I you know, you come to try to vent to me and I have to stop you because first that's some negative energy, right?
Right, you gotta take
And
that on.
yeah,
Yeah,
and second, like I'm gonna tell you how it is. This is what you need to do because that's what a real friend does, you know.
right.
And 9 out of 10 they don't take the advice. They
Yeah,
don't,
because people don't like hearing what they have to hear. They like hearing what they want to hear. And that's
yeah,
the truth.
yeah,
You know, like again, I'm gonna use myself as an example only because I'm the only one. Like as far as social life goes, I only got three close friends.
and that's all you need.
And that exactly. We don't try to and one of them lives in another state. The same dude I was talking about a minute ago. You know what I mean? But at the end of the day, I only got three close friends. And I don't really go out because I'm fresh off the breakup. We're divorced and I'm sitting here at home alone. I'm trying to get into a position where I can be a better father and a business owner
You're trying to
so
build
that
yourself up.
exactly so that at the end of the day I can I can give my kids something and I can be good to myself. I've been doing a lot of like spiritual stuff. I know it sounds a little weird, but I've been doing a lot of like
Nothing
meditating.
wrong. Nothing wrong with
Um
that.
yeah, you know what I mean? Like getting in touch with myself spiritually. So staying away from drugs has helped me with that. And with all that being said, it's like I'm just at a point where I'm just trying to get to a higher mental being
Yeah,
where it's like I can sit here and be happy regardless of if I smoke, regardless of if I got people to hang out with. You know what I mean? Like on the weekends, if I need to have a drink, I'll sit home and have a drink by myself
yeah,
because I ain't trying to get involved with no woman.
yeah.
Well,
One hundred
relationship in
percent.
general, because I ain't trying to knock
Facts.
anybody that's gay. You know.
Facts, dude. Yeah, just you gotta have as you get older, your group, your circle starts to get smaller, and
Right, right,
you just gotta have you gotta have surround yourself with people that want to move forward in life
right,
rather than stay stuck.
right, right.
You know.
Yeah, most definitely. At the end of the day, this shit, life happens regardless of the people you meet, regardless of the friends that you have. Life happens, and a lot of people don't realize that like when you make friends with somebody, they don't have to be your friends for the rest of your life. You know, they don't have to be in your life forever. They can always just be um, here and gone. I'm pretty sure a lot of the friends you have from high school never really stuck around and never really were around until now. You know what I mean?
No, facts. It's okay to outgrow people. You know.
Right. And even at that, like I'm still cool with a lot of my friends from high school. It's just that
now I have kids, I have a job,
You
I
got
have work.
priorities.
Exactly. And they live in other states.
Yeah, man.
Like life happens. I just
And
noticed now you can see like all the writing on the background.
yeah,
Like my
yeah.
kids marked up the walls, man. They I gotta repaint the house and stuff, but I just haven't had the chance to yet.
This is all about, baby boy.
Yeah, man. You see this shit? But I know you noticed in the background I got like a little whiteboard up there. You see that shit?
Yeah, yeah.
That whiteboard has been extremely helpful in growing myself as a person because I write down the things I have to do and the goals I'm trying to achieve for that week. Now, a lot of people take that for granted, but when you do that, when you write it down, when you manifest it into kind of like reality,
Mm-hmm.
instead of just having it in your head, instead of saying, "Oh, I got this bill to pay this week, I got this to do this week," like you may not. There's glare on there, but on there it says D.I.O.'s podcast. Like,
There you go.
you know what I'm saying? Like, it's things that when you manifest it into reality, you start to get more of a structure for yourself as far as like what to do, where to do it, and the driving force behind it.
You know, one of the scary thing about being a person, right, is you have to realize who you are, right? A lot of us, get scared of our emotions or our thoughts and whatnot, right? So, the key is to have accountability.
Right.
You have to have accountability. I was listening to David Goggins' book. Is that You Can't Hurt Me, right?
What
And
was his name? David Goggins?
yes,
Okay.
that's a
I'm gonna
bad
have to check that
motherfucker.
out. Yeah.
That's a bad motherfucker. A retired Navy SEAL. And
Okay.
one of the things he
He
would do,
was he was on the Joe Rogan podcast, wasn't
yeah,
he?
yeah, a
Yeah,
couple of
yeah.
times,
I
yeah.
think I think I know who you're talking about. Right.
He I was hearing his book and he said he would look at himself in the mirror
Right.
and as crazy as it sounds, he would talk to himself and he would take accountability. He would talk to himself and take accountability. And I'm not gonna lie, I took that and on the DL, I started doing that with myself. You
Yeah, you
know,
have to.
the
You
the
have to.
hardest the hardest thing is looking at yourself and being accountable. So sometimes, as crazy as it sounds, I look at myself in the mirror, whether it's a disagreement I had with my wife, whether it's something of my business that I just don't want to fucking do, or something stressing me out. I gotta handle myself,
Right, exactly.
because
Um
yeah.
no, you're not wrong. Like at the end of the day, a lot of people have an issue with that exact problem where it's like, there's an issue with you as a person. And a lot of people hate to look within. I always tell my friends, people love to look out the window, but never like to look in the mirror.
Hmm.
You know what I'm saying? It just makes sense because at the end of the day, nobody likes to come to the faults with themselves. And not to mention any names, you know who I'm talking about, but
Hmm.
my ex has that same issue. Like she'd rather blame the world but herself.
But
And
I gotta stop you before you go down that rabbit hole. You know, that's women in general, and I
well,
meant
yeah,
and I
yeah,
mean
for sure.
and I mean this with all respect, right?
With respect, of course. Yeah, I know what you're saying.
But I'm gonna tell you something, and where nobody's ever told you, right? Nobody definitely has ever told me, but I had to learn throughout time, because that's what you do when you grow and become a father and a husband and whatever. Once you know that this is the person you want to spend the rest of your life with, right? you know, if that person doesn't take accountability for her shit, that's on her.
Right,
But
right.
as you, as me, as men in general, right? This is something that nobody has ever passed down to us, in which I hope, this inspire other men to understand, is that once you become a husband and a father, you are held uh to a different standard.
Most definitely.
You
Most
know,
definitely.
you're held to a different standard.
Right.
So when somebody pops 2 kids, 3 kids, whatever kids, motherfucker, you're held to a different standard. Your mistakes cannot be the same as yesterday. Every day is accountability with yourself, because you have somebody reminding of you of your shortcomings,
Right.
you know? So what you do as an individual is you have to walk as if your standard is to better the world around you,
No, most
you know?
definitely. And
And when somebody points fingers and puts you down, you take a deep breath. If you're honest with yourself, that shit is not going to affect you. You brush that shit off
right,
and move forward.
right.
Because if that relationship does not work out, you still have, like me, like I have an individual that I still have to keep being. I have the
Right.
standard because I still have somebody looking towards me, and I'll be damned if anybody puts me under that standard.
Yeah, most
You
definitely.
know?
I think one of the most hurtful things you can hear as a father who cares about his kids is that you're a bad father. That's one of
Yeah,
the most hurtful things you can hear.
yeah.
And at the end of the day, it comes down to everything that we've been talking about. I know that maybe this podcast we've strayed away from the art topic and the your business, the printing topic, but at the end of the day, all these things that are underlying issues,
Mm-hmm.
they all come down to you holding down your own business.
Mm-hmm.
If you can't love yourself, you can't love anybody else. And if you can't love yourself, you can't love your own business.
Mm-hmm.
So at the end of the day, if you don't look at yourself as a good father, you don't look at yourself as a good person, and you don't look at yourself as a good business owner, you don't look at yourself as a good artist, you don't look at yourself as a good printer, or podcast host,
Mm-hmm.
whatever it may be, musician, whatever. And I've done music in the past. Now I just play some guitar for my kids whenever they come through. But you know what I mean? So at the end of the day, it all comes down to that. Just being real with yourself
Mm-hmm.
helps to get you to a point where you can be real with the world around you. Having thick
Yes.
skin and just generally being in tune with yourself. Meditation helps.
Yeah.
Um, Self reflection helps a lot. And in general, a healthy diet,
Yeah.
working out, just keeping yourself active. If your heart's good, your mind's good, your body's good.
Yeah.
You got to keep
And
yourself up there.
yeah, and not sure if you're going through that situation, but if somebody says I'm a fucked up father, I'm gonna be a faithful father. It's that's what I get. I, I don't even know how to say this. That's what, like,
Well, I say just be real about it.
yeah,
Whatever you're about to
no,
say, just say
yeah, like
it.
growing up, I was such criticized, right? I was
Right, of
criticized,
course.
I was there, they had a label on me, but nobody helped me,
Right. And
right? And
go ahead.
I grew the fuck up, right? And there's one thing that gets me going in the fucking when I wake up, is that I'm proving a motherfucker wrong.
Right, right. You know, I think that comes down to like this is just from the friends that I know. Like, so growing up, I grew up strictly Guyanese. You know, I grew up in a Guyanese household. I grew up around Guyanese family that were very traditional. And I've noticed as I grew up, Philippine people, Puerto Rican people, black people, and Dominican people, people of minority in general, we have this stigma where mental health isn't taken so seriously.
Mm-hmm.
And at the end of the day, all we can do as especially as men in our cultures is just kind of grow up fast, right? You gotta learn how to cook, you gotta learn how to take care of other people, you gotta do all this shit way too fast, way before you're ready. And again, like you said it earlier, not to offend like any white uh any white audience members you have, but y'all don't have that, and I kind of envy you for it, because at the end of the day, we have this stigma where it's like you have to grow up fast and you have to be an adult fast. You have to know how to take care of people and shit like that. And mental health is very serious. If you're having issues right now, like, this is going to be a random public service announcement, but I think you should get help. There's
Yeah.
nothing wrong with seeing a therapist. There's nothing wrong with talking to somebody about your issues, even if it's a friend.
Mm-hmm.
If that friend only perpetuates what you're thinking and doesn't help you grow, then they're not a friend.
Let me ask you something.
Yeah.
Do you know, like, first of all, don't envy no fucking white person. Fuck them. No offense, but don't envy nobody. Right.
No, I ain't envying nobody, but in
Right.
that sense, you know
Do
what
you
I'm
know?
saying?
Do you know why? Like, people don't speak about it, but the gold standard is white people. That's the gold standard, right?
Right.
That's everybody wants to be successful like a white person. But do you know why?
Why is that?
Because the way they handle themselves, right? So
Right.
you white people have done some crazy shit, but they do it inside their house in their privacy. When they come out, they know how to fucking act. When they work, they know how to fucking act. Whether they're a boss, whether they're under boss, whether whatever, they know how to fucking act. They don't go out fucking going crazy like most of us, right? They know how to fucking act. They know what's there's a fucking problem, they'll call fucking police. That's why their job. They
Right.
know you as a person as all. We have to know what is our position in life,
Right.
right? And if you are not happy with your position in life, you, me, or anybody, you need to do something about it, right?
Most
And
definitely.
that's what they know about. What's missing, there's a lot of fucking mental health around. And the problem is because we have no more values. There's a thing called respect. There's no respect no more. People wanna, you don't need religion to have a fucking good life.
That's the biggest thing. Religion plays such a huge part in our cultures, man. Like, it plays the biggest part in our cultures. And honestly, when I came out to my family, like, this is gonna sound a little blasphemous, but I came out agnostic. And that's because at the end of the day, I noticed, you know, Jewish people, Hindu people, Christian people, and Muslim people, we all pray to a God hoping that our problems get fixed, but ain't nobody gonna fix your problems but you,
Yes, facts,
you know? And
facts.
that- and that's a big thing that I've noticed with, like, with our cultures, is that we look to religion. We look to religion when we can't find a way out.
I My God is called hope. I'm not a Catholic. I'm not a Jewish. I'm
Yeah.
not. My God is called hope. You know what?
Okay.
Because hopefully tomorrow will be a better day than today.
Yeah.
So when I sit down, when I lay down and I talk to hope, which is my God, right?
Right.
I put all my problems, all my worries, all my concerns, all my fears, all my financial, my marriage, my health, everything in hope's hands, right? And that's what has gotten me in a better place. I don't identify myself with Juan Pedro or whatever. That's my God. I
Right.
respect everybody, for what they believe in, because at the end of the day, respect is what keeps that fine line, and respect its values.
Right.
So you can have the most mental illness in the world, but if you have values, it will help you with those mental illnesses you have. Because right now we
Right.
live in a world that it's a gray line. Nobody has
Yeah.
values, because if you're
Yeah,
willing,
that's the biggest issue.
if you're willing to go online and show your ass and your twat and you know OnlyFans, that's on you. That's your
Right.
standard
Yeah.
to get that money. But at the end, what keeps you is values.
Yo, I'm not even gonna lie, bro. I wish I had pretty feet, bro. I'd be making I'd be making a killing off of feet pics. Bro.
Yeah, I've thought about that too. I'm not gonna lie. Nobody knows about me, right?
Yeah, right. Like, shit. Is that we work? We don't got good looking feet. Like,
Yep.
nah. On some real shit though, it comes down to that. Like, in America specifically, we're all in a hustle for money. We're a first world country, but our financial problems are almost third world.
80%,
that
80% of marriages fail because of financial.
Right, exactly. You know, I looked up the statistics. At the end of the day, out of 100% of people that get married legally, 60% end in divorce. I can't complain where I'm at. You know what I'm saying? At the end of the day, I'm one of the 60%. I'm in the majority. I fall into that line. And it's not to knock marriage. Like, I'm grateful. Like, God bless everybody who's in that situation where they're married and they're still married to this day, and they have children and they got a level head. Having a level head helps go a long way. You know. So at the end of the day, I can't knock that. But at the end of the day, I can't say that I'm in a bad spot because I'm in where 60%, where the majority of men are, where, you know, and this is something that like I wish I could do, but I just don't have the brain for it to go in um and study psychology to go help men with mental health issues. But I'll tell you this
Well,
much.
first of all, you can start by what I've said this numerous times, like to people in podcasts, support one another.
Right.
Support. You don't have to
When it
be a
comes to
psychologist.
men,
Support one another.
you don't got to be a big man and act tough. At the end of the day,
Yeah.
men are going through the same issues as you are.
Mm-hmm.
And we need to, as men specifically, we need to hold each other down.
Yeah.
We got mental health issues that aren't being addressed because too many men are scared to be men, to be real men,
Yeah.
where you want to just be macho and you want to have, like this I don't give a fuck attitude. That's cool. That's cool. As a rapper, as whatever it is, that's cool. You can have an I don't give a fuck attitude. But realistically, men are more likely to commit suicide than women. We need to hold each other down.
Yes.
Y'all need to be like real with each other.
Yes.
Like, men's mental health is a real issue.
Yes. I agree that. All right, brother. We've been here for a while.
Most definitely.
It's been a pleasure.
Yeah.
We got to do this again.
Fantastic talking to you. Whenever you want me back on, I'm here.
Yes.
You just let me know when. I'm so down to come back on because it's been a good intellectual talk. I don't get that with a lot of people, so
that's what it's all about, baby.
Yeah, most definitely. And
so before we leave, tell the people where they can find you. Tell people where they can find your business. Put all your plugins.
Yo, if y'all are down with any of the bullshit I was saying, y'all can find me on Instagram as _201art. 201 representing Jersey City.
There you go.
There you go.
There you go.
I represent the city I grew up in.
That's what's up.
All my links are on there. And yo, make sure you follow my boy too. D.I.O got that shit. Come on. D.I.O got his merch. D.I.O got his business going on. Make sure you give him a little, like, even if you don't buy something, follow him.
There you go. Support. All right, thank you, brother. I'm out.
Likewise,
Have a good night.
Man.